Hey, Midtown 12 South, Elliott coming to you on video, and I long for the day when we will be able to engage with each other, primarily not this way. Sitting in my office, and just down the steps outside of my office is our wonderful little sanctuary that has been empty now for a little over 6 months, which is kind of hard to believe. In Midtown, you just need to hear from your pastor. I miss you. I love you. I really do have a strong longing and desire to be with you again. I've missed these Sunday gatherings where we get to gather for song and worship and prayer and to hear God's word. I miss the sound of children running through these halls and on the playground. I miss it all. I miss a full load of Sundays with people and with stories and with relationships. And so I'm coming to you to give you a little exciting announcement. There's some things coming down the pipeline. There's some things coming in early September that I'm going to tell you about. And there's two things that I want to tell you about. And before I tell you about them, I want you to know that we are trying to hold two very strong convictions together when we present you these options. One conviction is that it is really good for God's people to be together. The Bible is very clear about that in the wilderness, it's not good to be alone. It's hard enough already, and that's why we gather weekly. That's why that is the rhythm of the church, to gather on our Sabbath day, because we need each other. It's good for God's people to gather together. We believe that. The other thing we believe is that we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're living with a virus that is taking lives and causing stress on hospitals, and we value human life desperately. It's a God-given worth that we want to protect. In the middle of this, we're trying to be good citizens and good neighbors. And so we're trying to hold both things together. And so these two options are trying to hold both those things together. So starting September 6th, you'll hear about this, but we are going to be doing live in-person services at this location, 12 South, and at our location, Granny White, down the street. 3 services on Sundays at each location, 6 services total. Those services will hold no more than 50 people. You'll register for those services online. They will be socially distanced. People will be required to wear masks. We will be taking all the precautions and following all the protocols to try to keep this place sanitized and clean and safe for people to come and worship together. The first of those services each month, we'll be serving communion, and we'll be doing that in a very health-conscious way, and you'll hear more about that coming down the road. But that's one option, to come back to Midtown in person at one of our locations starting September 6th. Children younger than 5th grade will not be allowed to come to those services. I know that puts a strain on families, but that's the way it's going to be for now. There will not be Kid Town offered. So 50 people, 5th grade and older, will be able to come to those services. So that's one option, Midtown in-person live services to gather together again. If you don't feel comfortable with that, or you don't feel led to do that, that is okay. We totally understand that. And we also want to make it available for you to gather together with people to worship and to hear the word and to be together. So we're starting something called Midtown Home Church, where we would ask you, the people of Midtown, to host a home church in your living room, on your back patio, or in your driveway, spaced out, however you feel comfortable, with whomever you feel comfortable doing that with. It can be literally you and your next door neighbor, you and some people from your small group, or you and your entire small group to gather together in your home to host Midtown Home Church, that we would provide a space for you to be able to gather together and worship together and be with God's people together. We think that's a good thing. We think that's a necessary thing for the well-being of our soul. So Midtown Home Church or Midtown in person, one of those two things, we would challenge you, we would plead with you for the sake of your own spiritual nourishment to do one of those two things. And we also realize that either one of those things is less than ideal, that there's some awkwardness in it, there's some challenges with it, that there are things about both those options that are not perfect. We get that, and that is not lost on the elders and the pastors here at Midtown. But we're again trying to hold together the conviction that it is good for God's people to gather together, and it's also good for us to be good neighbors, to care for people in this city during this pandemic. So you'll hear more details in the coming weeks, but your pastor, your elders, your leaders here are longing to still feed the sheep, longing to still do what we were made to do, which is gather and worship and grow together in Jesus. And so I long for the day when these sanctuary halls are filled again and we are packed out on Sundays again. I long for that day. Until then, though, this is what we're going to be doing, and I hope that you will follow us, and I hope that you will join us in one of these two ways to gather and be together. I love you, and I will see you again soon.